I am Tommy, a 34-year-old software developer from Seattle. 5 years ago, I married Amanda, my high school sweetheart, whom I reconnected with at our college reunion. Everything seemed perfect. We had great careers, just bought our dream home, and were planning to start a family soon. But lately, things had started to change. Amanda became increasingly controlling over every aspect of our lives. Little did I know she would take it to an extreme I never imagined possible. For an entire week, my wife pretended I did not exist. Let me tell you where it all went wrong. If you are watching this, drop a comment letting me know where you are from, hit that subscribe button, and stick around to see how my best friend exposed her manipulation in just seconds. Life before the invisibility week was what most people would call successful. Amanda and I both had thriving careers. I worked for a tech company developing software applications while she excelled as a marketing executive. We had a solid group of friends, enjoyed weekend brunches, and traveled whenever possible. From the outside looking in, we were the perfect couple. But there were warning signs I chose to ignore. Amanda had always been particular about things, but over time her behavior became increasingly controlling. It started with small things. She would check my phone when I was in the shower, claiming she needed to look something up. She would question my whereabouts if I was even 15 minutes late coming home from work. Any friendship I maintained outside our marriage became subject to her scrutiny. "Who were you texting just now?" she would ask casually, but her eyes would narrow slightly. "Just Jack from work about the project deadline," I would answer, feeling strangely guilty despite doing nothing wrong. "Show me," she would sometimes say, extending her hand for my phone. I rationalized her behavior. Her parents had a tumultuous marriage that ended in a painful divorce when she was 14. Trust issues were understandable. I wanted to be transparent and had nothing to hide anyway. The criticism of my friendships happened so gradually I barely noticed the pattern. One by one, my close relationships were subtly undermined. "Sarah seems nice, but did you notice how she flirts with everyone?" Even you, Amanda, would observe after meeting a female colleague. "Tom drinks too much." "I worry about his influence on you," she would say about my college roommate. Decisions that should have been mutual began to be made unilaterally. Amanda signed us up for a country club membership without discussing the considerable expense. She redecorated our home office, disposing of my old desk that had sentimental value. When I expressed disappointment, she made me feel selfish for being attached to an ugly piece of furniture. The incident that should have been my final warning came during a dinner party with her colleagues. I was sharing a story about our recent vacation when Amanda interrupted. "That is not how it happened at all," she said, laughing, but with a sharp edge to her voice. "The hotel was 4 stars, not 5. It was Tuesday, not Wednesday. And the restaurant was Italian, not French." The details were inconsequential, but she corrected every single thing I said that evening. By dessert, I had fallen silent, feeling like a child who could not get anything right. That night, I tried to talk to her about how her corrections had made me feel. "You are being oversensitive," she said dismissively. "I cannot let you tell stories incorrectly. It reflects badly on both of us." Living with Amanda became like navigating a minefield. I monitored my words, actions, and even facial expressions to avoid triggering her disapproval. Despite my efforts, I often failed. Without telling Amanda, I started seeing a therapist. Dr. Lawson was the first person to suggest that what I was experiencing might be emotional abuse. The word shocked me. Abuse happened to other people, not to successful 34-year-old men like me. But the more we talked, the more I recognized the unhealthy patterns in my marriage. The catalyst for what I now call the invisibility week was Jake. He was my best friend since 3rd grade, the kind of friendship that survives even when life takes you in different directions. Jake had moved to Portland 5 years ago, and we had not seen each other in person since my wedding. He called to tell me he would be in Seattle for a business conference and wanted to visit. When I told Amanda, her reaction was immediate and severe. "Absolutely not," she said. "He cannot stay here." "He is not staying here. He just wants to come over for dinner one night," I explained. "I do not want him in our house. He never respected our relationship, and he is a bad influence on you." None of that was true. Jake had always been supportive of my relationship with Amanda, even when I had doubts during our dating years. The real issue was that Jake was the one person Amanda could never quite control or win over. "Jake is my oldest friend, and he is coming to dinner next Friday," I said, surprising myself with my firmness. "You do not have to like him, but I expect you to be civil." Amanda stared at me, her expression unreadable. "Fine," she finally said, walking away. Looking back, I realized that moment was pivotal. It was perhaps the first time in years I had directly opposed her will. I had no idea what it would cost me. The morning after our argument about Jake, I woke up to find Amanda already out of bed. The smell of coffee and bacon drifted up from the kitchen. Despite our disagreement, I felt hopeful that we could move past it. Arguments happened in every marriage, right? I walked into the kitchen and greeted her. "Good morning. That smells amazing." Amanda continued cooking, not acknowledging my presence. I assumed she was still angry but would get over it. "Is there enough coffee for me?" I asked, reaching for a mug. She did not answer, did not even glance in my direction. She finished cooking, placed a single plate of food on the table, sat down, and began eating while scrolling through her phone. "So this is how it is going to be," I asked, my frustration building. "The silent treatment because I want to see my friend." No response. Not even a flicker of recognition that I had spoken. It was as if I was not there at all. I left for work confused and hurt, but assumed she would get over it by the time I returned home. She did not. That evening set the pattern for the most bizarre and painful week of my life. When I came home, Amanda was watching a show on television. I said hello. Nothing. I asked about her day. Silence. I stood directly in front of her, and her eyes seemed to look through me. That first night I told myself it was an extreme version of the cold shoulder. People sometimes need space when they are angry. I slept in our bed and so did she, but with as much distance between us as possible. The second day brought the disturbing realization that this was something different than just anger. Amanda called her sister while I was in the room and spoke about being alone in the house. "No plans tonight," she said. "Just enjoying some quiet time by myself." I was standing 10 feet away from her. The deliberateness of it sent a chill through me. She made dinner for herself again. 1 plate, 1 glass, 1 set of utensils. She watched a movie and laughed at funny scenes as if enjoying a solo night in. When I tried to shower the next morning, I found the bathroom door locked. I knocked, and there was no answer, though I could hear the water running. I had to use the guest bathroom. By the third day, confusion had given way to a deep sense of hurt. I tried everything to break through. I wrote notes. I sent texts. I spoke loudly and clearly. I even tried gently touching her shoulder once, which she shrugged off as if brushing away a fly, never acknowledging the contact was from me. "Amanda, this has gone too far," I said directly to her face that evening. "Whatever point you are trying to make, you have made it. Please talk to me." Her eyes remained fixed on her book. She turned a page as if she had heard nothing. That night I recorded her behavior on my phone. Part of me needed evidence that this was really happening. The other part feared I might be losing my mind. The psychological impact of being treated as invisible is difficult to describe to someone who has not experienced it. It is a unique form of torment. Humans are social creatures. We need acknowledgement from others to reinforce our sense of self. Being systematically erased by the person closest to you creates a profound sense of isolation and self-doubt. By the 4th day, I felt like a ghost haunting my own home. I would catch glimpses of myself in mirrors and feel startled by my reflection. If I could see myself, why could not she? Amanda took a call from her mother that evening, putting it on speakerphone as she often did when doing household tasks. "I have been thinking about making some changes," she told her mother. "Maybe I am not cut out for living with someone. I might be better off on my own." Her mother sounded surprised. "What about Tommy? Things seemed good at Christmas." "Things change," Amanda said vaguely. "Sometimes people are not who you thought they were." I stood in the doorway listening to them discuss me as if I had vanished or died. The surreal nature of it made me laugh suddenly, a strange choked sound. Amanda did not flinch, did not react at all. The next day I called Dr. Lawson from my car during lunch and explained what was happening. "Tommy, what you are describing is emotional abuse," she said firmly. "This silent treatment has been taken to an extreme level that is designed to make you question your reality. It is a form of gaslighting." "What should I do?" I asked, feeling both validated and terrified. "This relationship has become psychologically damaging," she said. "I think you need to consider whether it is safe for you to remain in this situation." That evening I researched psychological manipulation and gaslighting. Everything I read described what I was experiencing. Amanda was not just angry. She was deliberately trying to break me down psychologically. The 6th day brought escalation. I came home to find all my clothes moved from our bedroom to the guest room. My photos had been removed from shelves and side tables. My mail sat unopened on the kitchen counter. When I tried to log into our shared Netflix account, the password had been changed. The calculated nature of these actions transformed my pain into anger. This was not emotional volatility or temporary insanity. This was a methodical attempt to erase me from our shared life. I texted Jake to confirm he was still coming the following day. Absolutely, he replied. Looking forward to seeing you both. As I set my phone down, I noticed Amanda watching me from the doorway. For a brief moment, our eyes actually met and she smiled. It was the first acknowledgement of my existence in nearly a week, and it chilled me to the bone. It was not a warm smile or even a smirk. It was the confident smile of someone who believes they are winning. Then as quickly as it happened, she was back to looking through me, walking past as if I were nothing but air. That night I slept fitfully in the guest room, my mind racing. What was her endgame? Would this continue indefinitely? Was she trying to make me leave? And most disturbingly, what was the meaning of that smile when she heard Jake was still coming? The morning Jake was due to visit was strange in new ways. Amanda was transformed. She showered, did her hair, applied makeup, and dressed nicely. She cleaned the house thoroughly and prepared appetizers. She put on music and hummed along, all while continuing to act as if I did not exist. As I watched her preparations, a sick realization dawned on me. She was planning to act as if I had moved out or left her. Jake would arrive expecting to see both of us, and she would tell him I was gone. My heart raced with anxiety. Would Jake believe her? Would he think I had abandoned our plans without telling him? For a horrifying moment, I wondered if he would be able to see me at all, or if Amanda's reality had somehow become the true one. The doorbell rang at exactly 6 o'clock. I stood frozen in the living room as Amanda went to answer it, a warm smile on her face. Jake. So good to see you, she said, embracing him. Come in, come in. Jake stepped inside, a bottle of wine in hand. Hey, Amanda. Great to see you too. Where is the man of the hour? Her response was delivered with practiced sadness. Oh, Jake, I thought you knew. Tommy and I. Well, we have been having problems. He left a few days ago, said he needed space. I stood less than 10 feet away watching this performance in disbelief. Jake's brow furrowed in confusion. What? But I just texted with him yesterday. He confirmed our plans. He has been very confused lately, Amanda said softly, saying things that do not make sense. The stress of his job, I think. He probably forgot to tell you he would not be here. But Jake looked around the room and then his eyes found me. Relief flooded through me so powerfully I nearly collapsed. What do you mean he left? He is standing right there, Jake said, pointing directly at me. The moment froze in time. Amanda's face went blank for a split second before she recovered. Oh, she laughed, the sound brittle and false. I am just kidding. Of course he is here. Tommy, stop hiding, and come say hello to your friend. She turned toward me with a bright, artificial smile. You got me, babe. I was just playing a joke on Jake. Jake looked between us, confusion evident on his face. I could not speak. After a week of being treated as if I did not exist, being suddenly acknowledged felt like a shock to my system. Tommy Jake approached me, concern written across his features. You okay, man? You look like you have seen a ghost. He has not been feeling well. Amanda interjected quickly. Why do not we all sit down? Dinner is almost ready. The next hour was excruciating. Amanda acted as if everything was normal, touching my arm occasionally, asking if I wanted more wine, laughing at Jake's stories. But her eyes were watchful, calculating, and underneath the table her fingernails dug into my thigh when I tried to speak. Jake noticed. Of course he did. We had been friends since childhood. He could read me better than anyone. Mind if I use your bathroom? He asked eventually. Down the hall on the left, Amanda directed with a smile. As soon as Jake left the table, Amanda leaned close to me, her voice a harsh whisper. Do not you dare say anything. You will only make yourself look crazy. When Jake returned, he did not sit back down. Tommy, can you show me those photos from your hiking trip? The ones you mentioned in your texts. Amanda started to say they could wait until after dessert, but I was already standing. Sure. They are on my laptop in the guest room. I led Jake upstairs, relief washing over me at being momentarily free from Amanda's presence. As soon as the door closed behind us, Jake turned to me. What the hell is going on, Tommy? Something is seriously wrong here. The question broke something inside me. Words poured out in a desperate rush. I told him everything. The week of being treated as invisible. The moved belongings. The erased existence. Jake listened, his expression growing increasingly troubled. Then he pulled out his phone. I am recording this. Not to be dramatic, but because I want you to have evidence of what is happening. This is abuse, Tommy. Serious psychological abuse. She will say, "I am making it up," I said, the fear that had been building all week finally finding voice. She will convince everyone I am having some kind of breakdown. "Not if I back you up," Jake said firmly. I saw what just happened downstairs. She pretended you were not here. She lied to my face until I directly acknowledged you. We returned downstairs to find Amanda in the kitchen, calmly arranging dessert plates. Her composure cracked slightly when she saw Jake's protective stance beside me. "Everything okay?" she asked, her voice artificially light. "No, Amanda, everything is not okay," Jake said before I could respond. "Tommy has told me what you have been doing." "And what exactly does he think I have been doing?" she asked, emphasizing the word think in a way that implied delusion on my part. "Pretending he does not exist for the past week," Jake said bluntly. "Ignoring him completely. Moving his things to the guest room. Telling your mother you are living alone." Amanda's face went through a rapid series of expressions before settling on concerned sympathy. "Tommy, honey, is that what you think has been happening? We had an argument about Jake's visit, yes, but I never ignored you. We slept in the same bed every night. We ate dinner together. We talked about your mother's birthday present. The gaslighting was so brazen it temporarily stunned me into silence. None of those things had happened." "Stop it," I finally said, my voice stronger than I expected. "Just stop it, Amanda. Tommy has recordings," Jake added quietly. Amanda's expression flickered, a momentary calculation visible behind her eyes before tears welled up. "How could you record me without my knowledge? What is wrong with you? I have been trying so hard to make this marriage work, and you have been plotting against me with him," she pointed accusingly at Jake. "This is crazy," Jake muttered. "Tommy, get your things. You are not staying here tonight." Amanda's strategy shifted instantly. The tears disappeared, replaced by cold fury. "You have always tried to come between us," she spat at Jake. "Ever since college. You could not stand that he chose me. This has nothing to do with me," Jake responded calmly. "This is about how you are treating your husband. Ask him why I might be upset." Amanda challenged, her voice rising. "Ask him about the messages I found from his ex. Ask him why he changed his phone password." I stared at her in disbelief. "What messages? What password? I never changed my password." "It is still your birthday, the same as it has been for years." "See," she turned to Jake triumphantly. "He lies even now." Jake pulled out his phone again and held it up. "I am still recording, Amanda. I think you should know that. Every word." Something in Amanda seemed to collapse then. The facade crumbled, and for a brief moment I saw something I had never seen before in my wife's eyes: fear. "Why are you doing this to me?" she asked, but her voice had lost its conviction. "Tell him the truth," I said quietly. "Tell him why you have been pretending I do not exist for a week." The silence stretched between us, heavy with years of manipulation and control. "I wanted you to know what it felt like," she finally said, her voice small. "To be invisible. To be nothing. That is how I feel when you choose him over me." She glared at Jake. "You were trying to break me," I said, the realization crystallizing. "You thought if you ignored me long enough I would beg for your attention. Promise never to see Jake again. Give you what you wanted." She did not deny it. In my therapy sessions I asked, remembering the password changes, "Have you been reading my private emails with Dr. Lawson?" A flush spread across Amanda's cheeks. "You should not need therapy if you have a wife to talk to." In that moment everything became clear. The jealousy extended beyond my friendships to any relationship, any connection that might give me perspective outside her control. "I am getting my things," I said, turning toward the stairs. Amanda's demeanor changed instantly. She rushed forward, grabbing my arm. "Tommy, please. I am sorry. I went too far. I was hurt and jealous and scared of losing you. We can fix this. We can get counseling together." The sudden shift from denial to desperate pleading was dizzying. For a moment, I almost believed her. Almost felt sorry for her. That was the power she had held over me for so long. But then I caught Jake's eye, saw the concern there, and remembered the past week of torment. "No," I said, simply gently removing her hand from my arm. "This cannot be fixed." As Jake helped me gather essential belongings, Amanda vacillated between threats and begging. She would tell everyone I had abused her. She would hurt herself if I left. She could not live without me. She would change. She would never do anything like this again. Each promise and threat only confirmed that leaving was the right decision. I stayed with Jake at his hotel that night, and for the next few days at his apartment in Portland, Being away from Amanda created the mental space I desperately needed to see our relationship clearly for the first time in years. The text messages began almost immediately after I left. Dozens, then hundreds of them. They followed a predictable pattern. First, denial. I do not know why you are doing this. Nothing happened the way you and Jake are claiming. Then anger. After everything I have done for you, this is how you repay me, by believing lies. Then bargaining. Please come home. I will go to therapy. I will do whatever it takes. And finally, when none of these tactics worked, threats. I will tell everyone what you did to me. No one will believe your side. I blocked her number after the first day, but she created new email addresses, new social media accounts, even used friends' phones to continue her campaign to pull me back into her orbit. A week after I left, I met with Dr. Lawson in person. She helped me understand what had happened in clinical terms. What you experienced was a severe form of emotional and psychological abuse, she explained. The silent treatment taken to such an extreme becomes ambient abuse, also called gaslighting. It was designed to make you question your reality, your sanity, and your worth. Why would someone do that to a person they claim to love? I asked, still struggling to comprehend. Control, she said simply. People who engage in this kind of manipulation are often deeply insecure. They need to control their partner completely to feel safe. Any independence, any outside relationship becomes a threat. With Dr. Lawson's support, I made the difficult decision to file for separation, the first step toward divorce. I hired an attorney who specialized in high-conflict divorces and documented everything. Just as Amanda had threatened, she began telling our mutual friends her version of events. According to her, I had become increasingly distant and verbally abusive. She claimed I had been having an affair and fabricated the invisibility story with Jake's help to justify leaving her. Some friends believed her. I lost people I had known for years who could not reconcile the conflicting narratives. It hurt, but Dr. Lawson helped me see that those who so easily accepted Amanda's version without question were probably not true friends to begin with. The most painful revelation came when I discovered Amanda had been systematically isolating me from my family for years. Small comments about my parents favoring my brother. Conveniently planned trips that made us miss family gatherings. Selective forwarding of messages that painted my relatives in a negative light. Reconnecting with my family became a crucial part of my healing process. So did joining a support group for survivors of psychological abuse. Sitting in a room with other people who had experienced similar manipulation helped me feel less alone, less ashamed of having been victimized. The legal process dragged on with Amanda, using every delay tactic available. She refused mediation, then demanded it. She agreed to settlements, then backed out. Each maneuver was designed to keep me engaged, to maintain some form of control. My attorney helped me establish firm boundaries. All communication went through legal channels. Evidence of Amanda's behavior before and after our separation strengthened my position. 6 months after leaving, I found an apartment of my own. It was smaller than the house Amanda and I had shared, but it was mine. I decorated it exactly as I wanted. I kept my phone unlocked. I went where I pleased without explaining my whereabouts to anyone. These simple freedoms felt revolutionary. I began reconnecting with old hobbies Amanda had subtly discouraged. I played guitar again. I went hiking with new friends from my support group. I even started dating cautiously, though I was transparent about my ongoing divorce and the trust issues I was working through. The most important part of my healing journey was learning to trust myself again, to recognize that my perceptions were valid, to understand that disagreements in healthy relationships do not involve making the other person feel crazy, to know that love should make you feel more fully yourself, not less. Jake remained a steadfast presence throughout this process. His simple act of seeing me when Amanda pretended I was invisible had literally saved my sanity. I did not do anything special, he insisted when I tried to thank him. I just told the truth about what I saw. But that was exactly what made the difference. In a situation designed to make me doubt my own reality, one person's honest perception had anchored me to the truth. If there is a lesson in my experience, it is this: trust yourself. When something feels wrong in a relationship, it probably is. Pay attention to red flags like increasing isolation, having to walk on eggshells, or feeling like you cannot do anything right. These are not normal relationship challenges. They are warning signs. Real love does not erase you. It does not diminish you or make you question your sanity. It does not require you to cut off important relationships. Real love sees you, acknowledges you, and helps you become more fully yourself, not less. My healing is still ongoing, but each day brings me closer to the person I was before Amanda's manipulation began. Sometimes, paradoxically, you have to lose someone to find yourself again. Sometimes the end of a relationship is not a failure, but a reclamation of the person you were always meant to be. If you are watching this, and something in my story resonates with your own experience, please know you are not alone. There is help available, and you deserve to be truly seen. Have you ever felt invisible in a relationship? Leave a comment below with your story or any questions you might have. Your experience could help someone else recognize the signs of manipulation in their own life. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories of overcoming adversity. And please share this with someone who might need to hear that they deserve better. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember that healing is possible even after the deepest betrayal.